Good evening. Welcome to the All For United WFC Twitter Live, Ben and Matt's Saturday Night Live. And I never thought I'd be doing this show so fucking soon. But Matt, how are you, fella?
Yeah, I'm all right, pal. How are you?
Fucking hell, still getting my head around everything, lad. What was your reaction 3 days ago when the news sort of broke? I thought it was a fucking wind-up, lad. I was there trying to sleep because of my bad back. You know, I'm in my night mode still, working nights, evening, Robert, lad. Working night still. And then I woke up. My phone kept buzzing off. I just thought it was a WhatsApp group that I'm part of. You know, a United WhatsApp group that always goes off and works WhatsApp and whatever. But, you know, I thought, well, woke up because I was going to put my phone on silent because it was annoying me. And I saw all this. I thought, someone's winding me up here. You know, and then I saw it. Natalie was serious. And I thought, looked at the club statement and blah, blah, blah. I thought, this is not a joke. It's not a wind-up. Obviously, I think you might have been working that afternoon, pal. What was your first reactions when as your news broke for yourself?
I think we just literally kicked the kids out, so to speak. It was about after one. Yeah, I was similar to you, pal. I thought it was a bit of a wind-up. I was surprised, really. I was like, And it took a while, didn't it, from sort of journalists breaking news for the club to come out and say something. So, yeah, just couldn't believe it. We knew, didn't we? And I said this yesterday with John. You know, we knew that there was rumblings going on. Did I think it'd go that far? No. I thought, you know, it would have been resolved, but it didn't and it hasn't. And, yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. And I said this yesterday, you know, I tried to sort of sum up the disappointment without sort of going on a mad sort of sweary rant. But yeah, disappointing, frustrating, typical based on what's been going on, sort of linked to the protests and the reasons for the protests. Yeah, and then obviously it's weird because I think there's only today been Millie Turner that's come out and said something from the players, which now it annoys me even more because that tells me that the club has got some sort of hold on them because there's no way those players would not post anything. Yeah. That tells me the club's interfering because the press conference today was very late, or the interview, whatever. Yeah, there we go, whatever you want to call it. I think it could be a situation retrieved. That would be interesting if she U-turned, but I personally can't see it. She looked devastated in that interview. She really did. And it was hard to watch. But, yeah, I mean, there's not more you can sort of say that's already been said, really. Go on. Add your thoughts.
Mate, I was fucking devastated. And I will swear because I was just, I don't know, man, I'm just shocked. It's not a hit like a ton of bricks. It's like, as I said, like to start the show off, it's not something, you know, in the house meeting, I didn't do a regular, yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't look like a person wants to go, yeah, absolutely. But as getting back to my point, just hit me like a ton of bricks, mate. It's not something as I said, I started the show, something I'd ever thought I'd say I'd do. Someone 3 years into at least a 5-year plan, you know. And all of this suddenly breaking, it's just something I didn't, you know, expect. I don't know, man. It's just absolutely. I don't know. I'm still trying to. It's trying to still sink in for me because I've had the shit with the protest. I've had, you know, crap going on since the ESL stuff, and you know, this just was just like proper. I don't know. Just annoying me even more because Casey was one of the brightest shining lights of this football club, you know, just like Ollie, you know, she got the football club. You know, she behaved the way a Manchester United manager should behave, you know. And I don't know, I'm just really gutted, pal, more than anything, you know. I don't know. Where do we go from here? Don't know, mate. It's a very toxic football club at the minute. Whoever comes in, it's a big job, big shoes to fill. And, you know, at the minute, this football club's just, yeah, it's just toxic. So it's going to take a brave person to come in, whoever comes in next, to take over Casey Stoney, you know. I don't know, mate. Where do we go from here? Fuck knows. But It's just disappointment, mate. You know, we've been on a terrific journey since 2018, pal. That first season, I think Casey in the interview all kept going on about that first season. And I kept saying, as I said to you plenty of times, that first season was special, and nothing will top it for me. I think you said previous shows that winning the Champions League or winning the WSL will top it. I don't think so, mate. There was something about that season, man, so special. What's your standout memory over the 3 seasons of Casey Stoney? What's a particular one that stands out to you?
I
know there's been plenty.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think maybe we could pick one from each season. I'm going to do that, you know. So I think this year I'm going to go with the Arsenal win. I think the Arsenal win was special. It was, listen, we knew sort of when we faced the bigger teams, and we faced Arsenal in season 1 in the Conti Cup, and it was close. And last year we run them close. It was a 1-0. The City game was a 1-0. So I think this year I'm going to go Arsenal. Last year I'm going to go beating City.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, that was special. And season 1, you know what? The whole journey of season 1, it was just one of them where it was like players and fans and that bond, because we were small numbers, weren't we?
Yeah.
As fans starting out. But season 1, you know what? I want to say the trophy lift. I think just because getting everything, we made a day of it as fans, but seeing everything come together, and her afterwards, her speech, and obviously she made the time for the few of us that presented the awards to the players and the trophies. I think that for me, I loved season 1, the whole journey. So for that reason, I'm going to pick, like I said, the last game, just because everything coming together, I think for me, you know, was really good. That Liverpool win, the very, very first game, sticks out, but I think that it's going to have to be the Lewis one. Not for the result, just for what it meant, the whole season coming together. And like I say, it was a journey. I said yesterday, you felt part of a family, you know. It was one of them where they were like, oh, we've never experienced this, you know, we've never had chance, we've never had people come home and away and be there every week. And obviously that summer we flew to Norway as well. And it was just, it was one of them, you know. I think because of her and because of this club, I've met so many great people. And, you know, obviously me and you didn't know each other in 2018 or until 2018. And, you know, there's not just you, there's been everybody. And I think it's been one where, like I say, I think it's just been everybody, you know, and it's brought a lot to ourselves as fans personally. You know, it means a lot. So it's one of them where it's like, it's odd because you're kind of losing a part of that journey over the 3 years, or a person from that journey. And it kind of like, I don't know, like losing the players in season 1 was hard, even the ones that didn't play, you know, to see the originals go, and that does get tough. But I think this is just the worst. Like, can't even summarize it. This, you know, this is like the leader of the journey, if you like, the sort of the go-to. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm still at a loss for words, to be fair. You know, a few days on that. Anyone that knows me knows I do talk a lot, and I'm not normally quiet and lost for words. But I'm going to let you pick if you want to go season by season and go for that, do that, or just pick one standout and sort of go with that.
I'll go season like you. I'll go season for season. Why not? I agree with the Arsenal one this season. That was a decent performance. I think that was a performance where we all thought now we are challenging. You know, now we can step up. Look, we're beating one of the so-called top 3 sides. Second one, I'm going to go for City at their council house, because I think to get 31,000 plus whatever, I can't remember what the attendance figures was, but to get over 31,000 fans there, mate, was brilliant. And listen, we gave them a game that day as well. You know, I know we lost, but you know, it was still a special moment. You know, to have a Manchester derby at the Etihad. You know, I thought that was pretty good. And that first season, mate, I keep coming back to it, but that first season was brilliant, pal. I can't describe how much that was so special. And, you know, as you said, though, it was that unique bond. There was only a small group of us. There was that, you know, I had a challenger in Martha and all that lot, you know, and we presented trophies, end of the season and at the Leicester game at the Quarnberger ground, whatever the hell it was called. But it was just so special. Just we was all tightly knit as well. It was just something so special, and the atmospheres were unbelievable. We went to Boreham Wood in the County Cup semi. That was such an atmosphere, such a special atmosphere. That I always remember it. We all got a little bit tanked up. I always remember losing my glasses, my scarf, my hat when Molly Green. When Monty Green placed the ball in the bottom corner, I was, mate, just delirium. But I don't know. I'm just going to go back to one of these points up here about Stu Woolley made about the Birmingham coach. He's on about Carla Ward, who's the Sheffield United manager during our first sort of season. First couple of seasons, shall we say, But so people like myself, yourself, and Natalie got to know her a little bit, as we had players out on loan. Excuse me, I had to wet my whistle a little bit. My throat was going dry. As we had players out on loan, which could be worth a shout, I don't 100% know what her plans are, but, decent coach, decent manager, done well at Birmingham, turning that shit show around at Birmingham, let's be fair. We're like a sinking ship, like Titanic. Everybody was at one point leaving in droves. I don't know your thoughts on that, pal. If that may be a consideration, or do you think we've still not got anybody in the frame yet? Because I noticed that you said on Twitter somewhere that managers that are being mentioned are not taking your fancy at the minute.
Yeah, and I'm still that. Listen, I like you. Obviously, we like you say we got to watch Sheffield and sort of chat to Carla, but I think. Just not for me, and I mean that it's hard to say that in a nice way, really. But I think we need to be going higher. I think and I know Natalie loves her, but I think for me, somebody with a proven track record. Because listen, this year we missed out on Champions League, and I've been vocal, sort of that being a failure. So I think for me, we need to get like that top high quality. Somebody that's either being a manager in the Champions League or at the top level. I know there's people mentioning the ex-Lyon manager, Gerard Preacher, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, that's fine, and he's a winner, and I like that, and he's been at the top of the game. But let's not forget, Lyon's team is run at a cost of 8 to 10 million a year, something that ours isn't. We're about half of that. We're on 4 to 5 million. So if he comes, I think, I said this, on Twitter, and I mentioned it yesterday, this person coming in needs assurances. Because otherwise it becomes a revolving door where we every 2 to 3 years we fall out of a budgets and we fall out of a training facilities. So we need to get in-house sorted first before anybody comes in. Because put it this way, if I was an elite manager and looking at this club, I'd be like, no, thank you. I'd want cast iron guarantees that training is sorted and that it's actually going to expand Carrington in the year that they said it will take. That the budget's there, they're going to be fully backed, that whatever you want comes in. And listen, they're going to say that, but it's empty words. They're going to say that because they don't want to look idiots and they're going to want to sell the club. A bit like they did to Casey. Oh, you can have what you want. Yeah, nothing's going to be an issue. Blah, blah, blah. We'll give you everything. And 3 years just gone in and she's walked. So for me, like I say, I think just to sort of summarise what you asked, Carla Ward, no. I think obviously she's done one season in the WSL, and for me, manager of the season, fair play to her, outstanding job with Birmingham. But I think we do need to be aiming higher. Now, I did tweet Jill Ellis. A couple of people aren't a fan of Jill for various reasons. That's fine. I believe she's got a job anyway as a director. I later found out that this San Diego, who Casey's linked to. But it's a little bit of a worry because there's not many sort of names out there. I mean, people have chucked out Phil Neville. I just think, no, God. The Lionesses was awful. They went backwards in 3 months.
To be fair, mate, I can't see Phil Neville leaving that cushy job at Inter Miami, to be honest with you.
Keep him there. Then I seen the ex-City manager mentioned, which was even worse. So I was just like, nope, let's not go there. Nick Cushing. So it needs to be quality. And I do wonder if we'll look abroad. Because I can't really think. I'm looking at other teams and I'm thinking, who could we potentially poach? Maybe Kelly Chambers at Reading would be worth a punt for me, I mean, listen, she's worked at Reading with limited resources. She's a very good coach. She's managed to get some quality players for their sort of size and level of club. I take Farrah Williams, for example, there. Natalie's heard Hope Powell. Would
Is that
be
a decent shout, ex-England? She's really
probably
highly rated.
Yeah, probably the best of the bunch that's been, well, I say the best of the bunch, the best of like Phil Neville and Carla Ward and them type people. But I think for me, get killed here by Reading fans or what Reading fans there are. But no, I think Kelly Chambers would be worth a look. Similar sort of mold to Casey, and she's been one that's been touted for England for the future. Hope Powell won't be necessarily disappointed, but I still think it's got to be higher. Listen, Kelly Chambers isn't top class, but she's somebody where it could be like Casey. The potential's there. You can be molded. You can learn. And she's that Reading team's been, obviously, apart from this year, they've been, the last few years, they've been sort of top 3, top 4, really upsetting the big clubs. So I think, works on a budget at Reading. I think, having had time to think about that, John's not a fan.
I don't think he is here, look.
No, that's
me,
fine.
Matt.
Each to their own. Like I say, it's not a problem. Football's opinions, isn't it? But I think the trouble is it's got to be high caliber. And who's going to come that's going to, really take us to that next level and that's actually going to want to come given the current shit show of how it's run? But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Like I say, I can't really think off the top of my head of too many where they're like really, up there, having read what other people have wanted. I don't know. I don't know if you've got any thoughts or any knowledge on anybody. I think we'll look abroad, to be fair. I really do.
You're probably looking abroad, mate. Carla Ward, that's an interesting one. The timing's really, really interesting as well. Gareth saying Mark Skinner, Andy Spence options too.
Andy Spence worked with our assistant as well, and is currently with England. Mark Skinner did a very good job at Birmingham. Would he come back from America? Possibly.
High caliber, please, says John.
Caliber. Yeah, this is the thing, though. It's fine something that's high caliber out there. This is the issue. This is the issue I've got because I'd agree with high caliber, which is why I chucked Jill Ellis out there. But again, they're few and far between and they need money and we're not chucking money at it. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with the X guys. So it's like, where'd you go? You either throw money and go high caliber or you go with somebody where there's potential to mold them into or for them to learn on the job, so to speak. But listen, Mark Skinner's not a bad shout. That was somebody I mentioned as well a few days ago. And
Eddie Howe's free, apparently.
Yeah, I tell you what, if Eddie Howe comes, I'll take that. It's difficult, reading the comments again. Vix is saying she can't think of many in the women's game. It's difficult.
I can't think of many either, mate. And how many that are in top jobs want to leave to United, knowing what as I said before, what the environment's like at the minute. It's a difficult position.
Summer.
It'd be very, very interesting summer, and it's like it's going to have a knock-on effect now with the transfer season as well, because you're going to want to be getting a manager in a pretty sharpish, mate. Otherwise, we're playing catch up before the season's even begun. Yeah. Top managers tend to be international managers. Well, yeah, exactly.
I think, like you say, getting somebody in was something I talked about yesterday. I was obviously on John's show, I was sort of saying, that by now pre-season is sorted, and it's worrying that we've not got a Pedro Losa. Pedro Losa was okay until they had a massive decline in his final year, and the players stopped playing for him. So I'd maybe question his man management, but he's a good coach. Was at Arsenal. And then they slumped to 5th, I think, in his final season or 6th. But yeah, as I was saying, like I say, yesterday's show, it's worrying that the training facility wasn't sorted when pre-season the trip is planned. So we don't know where we're training. Transfer plans go completely out the window. We've got to get somebody in for me within the next 2-3 weeks to get to know the squad, get to know the style of play, or implement their own style of play, to bring in who they want, to ship out who they want. And you're looking at an even bigger summer. I already called it a big summer with Casey in charge in terms of players and personnel. And I said, sort of 5 to 6 in and probably similar out. And I did say yesterday the foundations are in place. However, the foundations are in place based on what Casey's done. And now for taking it to the next level, there's no money and there's no training facility, which kind of sets us back a little bit. So there's huge amounts of work to be done over these next couple of weeks. The other thing I did mention yesterday was I wonder if this, because it's been brewing with Casey, if the club maybe had an idea that, listen, she's probably going to walk, having said that she was going to a couple of months ago and stayed on. He may have possibly been eyeing somebody up then. You don't care. No, this is the issue. It's just cocked up everything. But yeah, and obviously Casey even talked about a pre-season needing to happen because we missed it last year. Or we didn't have a great pre-season, which contributed to injuries. So yeah. Infrastructure, by the way, it's not just in terms of like personnel, it's the whole thing. So like obviously Casey's built up the RTC, the academy, things off the pitch, the team bonding and the togetherness. So it's the whole picture, not just nothing to do with owners, as in like literally the team basically. Say Kelly Smith. Kelly Smith didn't want to be a coach from what I gather because she was offered a role at Arsenal and turned it down. I think she's not quite at the required level either. I think she might be a B licensed coach. I think you need an A now for the women's game. Rachel Yankee at B's struggled. Don't know. It's just this is one. Casey had to fight for everything. Yeah, I think that bring up that general manager comment by Vic. Yeah, that's it. I was just going to say. We do have one now. It's just nobody knows of him. This is the issue with it. Like
Nat's trying to play out here.
Yeah, what's he doing? Nat knows, but judging by the emoji, we'll not say too much on that. But it does need a proper like top to bottom, just running of it. But it's crap, isn't it? It's not great. Should be the one to fight. Couldn't fight the way out of a paper bag.
It's true.
It is just yes men or women.
That's the problem with the club. And when you're saying that they're gonna, is it Richard Arnold or whatever his name is? They want to promote into Ed Woodward's position. All yes men, all within the club.
Yep.
If it was me, I'd be begging Edwin van der Sar, be throwing myself at his feet to come to Manchester United. Somebody with fresh ideas, somebody that knows how to do the fucking job, and do it well. Look how well Ajax are run. It's just, I don't know, mate. I just feel like it's going downhill quickly. It's like a roller coaster. When you're at the top and when you're descending down, you're going down quickly. It's going to take us one hell of a big push to get ourselves back up again. And I don't know, mate. Just listen. We had such a good manager, man. We've had Casey. Yes, she had her faults a little bit, just like Ollie has his faults a little bit. But you can see with Ollie and Casey in charge of both senior sides, we was going in the right direction. The ship was fucking pointing forwards, and now it looks like the ship spun round and is going backwards again. It's just, and who's to answer for it? It just seems to be that Casey's taking the flak on her own. People are saying, it's because she's got another job lined up. Well, I know for a fact, and I'm not going to say where it's come from, but hand on heart, 100%, swear down on my son's life, there is no other job involved. There is no other job involved. This is just fucking a fight against the fucking club, And let's be fair, she's had to fight for everything. She's had to fight for everything. All that bullshit all that fancy dancy press that they had coming out in 2018. We're going to give them the best facilities. We're going to make sure this manager's back. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing the cliff out, this and that. It all just seems to be broken promises and broken. Well, not broken, but all just chatting shit, basically. It's crumbling apart. You got your best player that wants to fucking leave. Did she see the goals before anybody else?
The word I'd use is people pleaser. They say what people want to hear with very little action. And it's the old saying, actions speak louder than words. And we've seen very little over 3 years of it happening in terms of backing the club or the manager. They're training next season. No.
What a clue, lad.
For me, we'll probably end up back at Lee. But the trouble with that is they need to start covering pitches over winter because a frozen pitch is no use. So it needs covering up and they need to get ground staff doing the job for me if we're back at Lee. Lee's not a bad facility. It really isn't. People are quick to knock it and blame injuries on Lee. But it's not that. The injuries are coming from going on a 3G pitch inside at the Cliff. So yeah, listen, Lee's used by all sorts of teams and clubs and things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just on a grass pitch, as per any outdoor pitch in winter, it's going to freeze. So yeah, and it is. I agree with that. It is better than what they're offered at Carrington. Carrington, they literally got a pitch miles away, the furthest pitch away from the main sort of reception and building. That, as we know, is a 10-minute walk to get there. They're just cast out. There's a little shitty tent with a couple of bits in for the gym, no toilets, nowhere to get changed, and that's that. So it's literally a grass pitch that's a million miles away with a tent, not even a proper physio room.
To be fair, I know there's been a lot of talk, and I know there's a lot of Glazer apologists out there that will say that point to bubbles as well, because apparently Paul Pogba's not allowed to have showered at Carrington or something, and he's had to take food home and whatever, you know. And I can understand that with the pandemic in bubbles, they have to maybe train away from the first team. However, why hasn't something been done since 2018? Why have they not extended Carrington? Why have they not looked at where can we put this women's side? You know, Littleton Road is too small. If the Cliff is fucking, you know, can't be redeveloped in the way that it needed to be.
Well, this is what they say.
They've done something at Carrington. It's just they've got buildings that they're fucking having to pop up, you know, and the council said they've got to come straight back down. You know, you can have them only for a certain limit at a time, and now apparently they're going to have to budge out where the youth teams all use as classrooms just so that these fucking idiots in suits and ties can have their offices. You know, it's just fucking stupid. They're not spending the money on any infrastructure.
But they're giving the excuses that Carrington isn't able to be developed when there's land around it. You know, like Natalie says, lies.
Nobody suggested no, I'd rather have fucking a dog than Vicky Jepson managing my football club. Willie Kirk, that's somebody with some really big pedigree in the women's game. Just to knock back on that point, would you take Willie Kirk back? Or has Bridges been burnt?
Not after the way he left the club, no. Listen, I saw him at Bristol, and before this was pre-United. Fair play, the guy was good, coached players, brought a lot of young players through, but for me, I just think there's no going back on that. The way he kind of looked to throw Casey under the bus and was eyeing her job up, I'd be disappointed if he came in. And again, you know, I rate Kelly Chambers better than Willie Kirk. And Hope Powell, as Natalie said. So I'd rather look at them two. If it was between them three, he'd be bottom of the pecking order for me. I think there's too many bridges been burnt between him and staff and him and players. And like I say, people thrown under the bus just for him and his ego boost. So I think that's a no from me, personally anyway. But I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely a no for me, mate. Guys, a top quality coach that we're wrong, but I don't know, mate. As you said, bridges have been burnt. Sorry, back to your point about the infrastructures anyway and all that.
Yeah, they were saying the crap we were fed was basically about Carrington not being able to be expanded. Now, obviously, there's a farm at one end, and I said this yesterday, but there's more than enough land around there. It's literally in a bloody field. Like, you're not telling me, you know, there's no way they can extend that. If you look at an aerial view of Carrington, I'm pretty sure they just don't want to spend the money. They don't want to buy the land to then have to, once they've bought the land, which will cost a lot to build on it, just can't be bothered. And it's like, you know, they said the cliff was too small. I think that, to be fair, the cliff probably was correct. If you look at around there, you're not going to get top class what we need. It's just big enough because it's in that housing estate. And I think behind it, is there a railway or a canal or something? And it wouldn't be possible anyway with whatever it is, which, okay, fine, keep it as it is. But, you know, there's no excuse at Carrington. Carrington's massively outdated. It was probably a good top facility in the early 2000s when it was pretty much, you know, new. But no, we're just behind on everything, aren't we? Literally now, and it's just getting worse. So we've got to sort something. You know, been saying this for God knows how many years now, haven't we, really? And it's shite. And it's affecting the women's team now as well as obviously the men's team. And it's unacceptable. Because the women's budget is peanuts compared to the men's. It's absolutely nothing. What we probably use to run that team in a year, Phil Jones probably earns in, 2-3 months maybe?
Yeah.
Possibly. little bit longer. But point is that, you know, we're wasting money. It's like them fences and things the other day from Thursday, £1 million they spent on all that. You know, it's like you're throwing money at crap like that, but yet you can't give Casey an extra 100 grand or whatever, you know. Yeah, just no words, just don't care. Spot on. Why can't the team training shifts? Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't see.
I don't either.
Like, surely, the thing is, I get like when you were saying before about the bubbles and that, but what the hell do we pay the cleaners for? You know, other clubs do that. Other clubs, they'll have some, like, for example, Reading, Chelsea, Arsenal, all share the men's facilities. And literally all they do is one will train in the morning, everything's cleaned down, wiped down, etc. Give it an hour or two to, like, I don't know what's the word, like, just chilling. So I don't know the word. They've cleaned it, and there's like an hour or two where it just has to stay, and then come in after the cleaning is finished. And train. And I don't see why, you know, you're paying your cleaners. What's the point in having your cleaners or your whatever people, you know, if they're not going to do it? And then there's ways around it. They're just using what's going on as an excuse because other clubs are doing it. It's just ours can't be asked. Yeah, sanitizing stuff. That's it. I've seen it. There's been a video, and I hate to drop Man City, but there's a video of a guy, and he wears like a little space suit, and he has a big box to him, and he goes in, it's like a hose, and they do it on the pitches on like a little quad bike, and they do it in the gym, and they wipe everything down so that by the time the first team have used it, like I say, they leave it an hour or two once it's all been sprayed and that and thinged, you know, desanitized, and then somebody else goes in, and then they do it again, and then in the evening, 6 o'clock, the kids are in, and it's constant, and it's like, you know, it's possible, it's just we either can't be bothered or they just want to make excuses. Cleaning costs money. They won't pay. Probably that'll probably be it. They won't be willing to pay more work.
Cheapskate.
Yeah, that's probably it. But it's like, you know, there's ways around it, and I think the money does hold it back. I think that's a fair point. To be fair, I think they're probably not willing to pay for that effort. They just think, sod it, you know, we don't care, and this is what you get.
This comment, I hope Casey's able to speak out soon. Even when she does leave, you know, United are quite a sneaky team where they can put in like gagging orders even for a certain time after they've left.
Do it now with our own players.
Yeah, that's why I don't think you've heard Nicky Butt come out and speak. It's a bit fucking weird when Nicky Butt leaves and then Casey Story leave, you know, on top of each other near enough, because not long ago Nicky Butt left. Something is rotten in that football club. You know, and it's just like, it just seems to be there's never any answers. I know in the women's game we struggle to sometimes get answers and clarity on things.
Yeah.
But I just wish somebody would come out and say reasons why, because it's those fans that it affects, because we're left clueless, you know. And as you said about at the start of the show, about players, Millie Turner's the only one that's really come out and said something, you know. And I know Kirsty Jansen sort of quote tweeted it as well, you know. But it's amazing how many of them haven't come out and said something, whether they've been told you cannot put anything on social media or anything. It's very strange.
Listen, knowing what goes on in terms of the social media, I know that they do, what's the word? They do like to dictate. That's probably a bad word, but that's pretty much how it feels. They do like to dictate what he's done and said, and it's ridiculous. Like, they literally, like, you know, can't do this, you can't follow this person, you can't say this, we don't want your views on that. And they're ridiculously, like, touch on it. Yeah, Siggy did actually post the other day on Instagram.
Yeah, she did the other day. I do apologise.
Yeah, it's just, it's poor. It really is.
Americans will speak out. Well, that could be a good thing when they're back in the States, you know, they might say, have their little say perhaps. You never know, really, you know. But as I said, I just found it strange. That's why I thought I'd just touch upon it a little bit, because you did touch upon it at the start of the show.
No, it is.
Not really people, you know. But I think once the dust settles and everything, I think, you know, maybe even after tomorrow's game, you know, when players, you know, usually tweet out or Instagram something, they probably will say it then. Maybe they are just waiting to get this final game out of the way and done with, you know, concentration, fully on the game, fully on getting the win, you know. And sending out Casey on a high, you know, and I don't know, mate. But this football club's just fucking rotten, mate. You know,
It's just poor, though, isn't it? You think somebody that's given so much and they're then saying to players, oh, don't speak out about it. Like, that doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? It's their own social media. It's nothing to do with some nugget that's a director or whatever. You know, it should be freedom of speech. It shouldn't be, oh, well, you know, you can't do this. You know, you only need to listen to Leah Galton that said how much Casey's helped her confidence and helped her love football again from somebody that had so many injuries and was close to quitting. It's just unforgivable. It's ridiculous that they've got a hold and saying you can't say this and you can't post that. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, freedom of speech and everything and all that. You know, granted, there's some things that they can't say, and obviously the club's reputation at line. I fully understand that, but when it's something like thanking somebody that's done so much, that's brought this club up from no players to, you know, fighting for top 3 in the WSL, I think it's absolutely disgusting that players are sort of on a gagging order, so to speak, neither frightened to speak out or told not to speak out. But I think privately, obviously, they'll thank her and, you know, things will go on there. But it would be nice if the club were like, you know, you can show your public appreciation, support, rather than just saying, oh, we don't need to say anything because we're fearing backlash or whatever. Tough. Do you know what I mean? They've caused this shit show, so deal with the consequences. Obviously, not talking like, you know, going abusing sort of players and that, but, you know, it would be nice to, you know, let players be able to speak on it and sort of say, you know, thanks Gaffer and all that. But, you know, it's one of them, like you say, it may come after tomorrow.
But then again, this football club didn't even thank Robin Van Persie when he moved on, mate. You know, didn't even give a thank you to him. You know, even after he near enough single-handedly won us the 20th league title. Well, he didn't single-handedly win us the 20th league title because, you know, in Fergie's final season, but he was a major part of that. Even he didn't get a thank you, you know, which was really strange at the time. But I don't know, mate. But as you said, though, I'm going back on that Leah Galton point now. That's another big plus point from Casey Stoney. Her man management skills is absolutely second to none.
That's it.
You know, you look at, as you said, Leah Galton's a big prime example. You know, she's come out and said she didn't know if she wanted to play football again, you know, when she came back from America, you know, and she had the time in, was it Bayern, if I remember correctly, Bayern Munich in Germany. It didn't quite work out for her there. Yeah. And what have you, you know. So she, you know, obviously she was like humming and hawing whether she wants to play football again. And then Casey came and said, listen, I'm going to be a manager of Manchester United. I want you to come and, you know, give it a go, you know. And look before this last injury setback, Leah Galton for the whole calendar year of 2020, for me, best United player. You know, she was flying. But it's just testament to Casey Stoney's man management that the way that she built up confidence in the likes of Leah Galton. You know, we've seen it where Kirsty Hansen at times has struggled, you know, and then come back stronger. You know, I think a man management is just pretty underrated, you know. I don't think people realise how good a man manager Casey Stoney is, and we're going to miss that big time.
This is why I talk about.
I don't know, you know.
This is why I talk about the replacement having to be top level and having to sort of, you know, have those set skills. Because, like you say, that the man management side of it is huge. Like, literally, I think it's hard enough managing and getting everything, but to then deal with 20, 25 players, different personalities, different things going on in personal and private lives, to get everybody together and believing in what she does. And like you say, dealing with that man management, you know, she's talked about in the past getting to know those players, like I say, personally, you know, and families too. And it'll be one of them, like, you know, how's such a body, how's your mum and dad and all this and all that. And it's little things that people don't think make a difference, make a huge difference. And I use the word role model, and I know that's probably quite obvious, but in the sense that she cares more than just about the football. You know, people think, oh, well, she might rock up, you know, look after him whilst they're at football and then after that. But it's the outside of football for me. It's the, like I say, the personal lives and, you know, how's the family doing? What can I do for you? Is there anything you need from me? You know, even in terms of settling in, you know, people in season 1 that were very young that moved up here. And, you know, she was doing more than a manager would do, sorting out accommodation, you know, checking people were okay off the pitch. And that is man management. And that's the bit that people don't see, which is huge. And it is a talent, you know, it's not something that everybody has. It's not something you can always teach people. It's something you have to sort of learn through trial and error. and it is a very, very big part of the game, which, like I say, some people may not be aware and may not know, but it like you say, you spot on. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, I said it. I think I said it on one of my videos when I couldn't sleep. I think it was. I think it was the same day that Casey Stoney. I did it at 11 at night, high off my bloody pills because I'm on so much medication for my bloody bad back and what have you. But I was just blabbing on about how Casey Stoney bought into the values of this football club. You know, she took on board what Manchester United was all about, and I said at the time, I expected him, and I thought, not expected really, but thought that she would be here for the next decade. You know, making a legacy for herself. You know, putting herself amongst the great managers like Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Matt Busby, because she totally got the Manchester United way. You know, she wasn't one of those big egotistical managers like Jose Mourinho, where everything was about him. You know, despite Louis van Gaal being an absolutely quality coach and being an absolute fucking hilarious man in a press conference, his football was dire and boring to watch. Made people fall asleep at Old Trafford. But I just felt like when Casey came in, it was like a breath of fresh air. You know, that team, I hold my hands up. When it first was announced, I had no idea about women's football. I kind of knew Casey Stoney was an England player. You know, I couldn't have told you what football club she played for. But the more and more that first season went on, the more and more I learnt about Casey Stoney. The more and more I was just in awe of her. You know, it was just like that's how a Manchester United manager should be. She was everything, you know. And even the glances, even that you know that Casey Stoney stare. You know what I'm on about. That even scares the shit out of me. And that's just what I you'd get from Sir Alex Ferguson.
Back to that postponed Charlton game when everyone.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go, mate. You know, she just had an aura about her, you know, and it was just like, yeah, that's somebody that gets the football club. That's somebody I could get behind, you know. And at the time, Jose was in charge of Manchester United. You know, things weren't going. Well, things were going all right and not all right. You know, it just felt like there was a Manchester United manager you could believe in again. That got a football club that you know, she believes in talent from the regional development centre and everything, and the RTCs, everything. And I still have within the next. If she was here for the next at least 5 years, I think over the next couple of years, you'd have seen more and more youth team players, more of the devs start getting blooded into the squad. You know, I'm of absolute, you know, remember this has been 3 short years, you know, and we had a 2 or 3 step up, you know, and there's been an injury to one of them that I thought might have actually made it sooner than the others. But you know, I think over the next in that 5-year period, if it was that to be the 5 years, you know, and none of this shit happened, you know, I think you'd have seen her promote blood the youth, you know, because she totally gets that side of the football club. I don't know, mate. It's like a big kick in the teeth, man. You know.
I think the thing is, like you said, she got the club ethos, and I think the big thing for me was, I was pretty similar to that, really. Top to bottom, it was that everybody had a part to play, everybody had a role to play, everybody was valued. She never sort of took personal credit. It was always the team or the staff, and you saw it when she won like Manager of the Month awards. Oh, it's not me, it's the staff, and all this. And there was a big like club family sort of vibe, wasn't there? It was very much. It's not a journey of me on my own. It's not about me. It's not about my players. It's about the club, the collective. You know, the staff behind the scenes, everybody together pulling in the same direction. And again, that sort of links into your man management. And I think, you know, like you said, you talk about bringing players through. I mean, 3 years into a journey, I still am shocked that she's, you know, kind of thrown the towel in. But you only have to look back. And, you know, I think a couple of people I've read sort of tweets, you know, the people that she has coached and improved, you know, the likes of Tooney. And when she came in, like I said, you know, she was a wide kind of, she could play right wing or wide forward. And she's probably made her into one of, for me, the best number 10s that we've had this season. You know, obviously LJ's been out injured and she's really shone, and she's our top scorer and top scorer of all time. And she's coached people, you know, I mean, listen, to is one example. There's other people, you know, she's, you know, made Millie Turner better. Millie's gone on to make her England debut. You know, you've got the likes of LJ that came in as a 16-year-old from Arsenal, who's really matured as a player, come in, unbelievable talent. You know, there's so many people, you know, we talk about Leah Galton, Kirsty Hansen as well. You know, there's so many people improved with her coaching, regain that confidence. And it's just, I think that'll be the big miss. You know, having somebody, it's all well and good, you know, and I think Maria Thoris-Dotsier came in and said in January she's actually been coached. And I think that's the biggest thing, you know, is that players actually get coached. It's all well and good chucking on sessions, but if you're not learning anything, you're kind of doing it for doing its sake. And I think that'll be the big miss as well, you know, is that it's going to be a big loss to the football club.
Absolutely. This is true, though. Their love for social media stats are now third in the world, with followers behind Chelsea and Barca. Up-to-do. Fucking, you know, social media shit, man. Should have got us to the top above those in a W. Yeah. To be fair, you know, I think we gave her the time. I think someone's comment here. There we are. Should have just given her 10 million to spend to the top. Mate, what's 10 million quid? What is honestly, seriously, what is 10 million quid? We're going to probably go and sign possibly Jadon Sancho for 60, 70, 80 million quid this summer, you know. So what's just 10 million?
How much will be going to the agents as well and all the other people that get the backhanders?
Exactly. Better coach than Emma Hayes. I guarantee if you gave Casey Stone the backing that Emma Hayes has had over the years, I bet you any money Casey Stone would be right up there.
You know what? The only time we chucked money at it was season 1, where we had the £5 million budget, and that was for everything. That was for like players, player contracts, staff, facilities, the lot. That was the only time they were, and that wasn't even, you know, the 10 million that you're mentioning. It was half, and since then, it's just been like pulled back and pulled back and pulled back. It's like, there's your 5 million. That's supposed to last you a bloody lifetime or something ridiculous. You know, it's. Yeah, beyond belief, really is, pal. That was it. Literally chucked the money at it at the start, and that was it. Then just scaled it back.
It's just that, you know, I just feel a little bit guilty. You know, I bought into all that bullshit that was fucking churning out into 2018, thinking, oh, they're not, you know, these fuckers, the Glazers, was the one that kicked it in the head in 2005 when they got rid of the women's team, saying, you know, they can't make profit off it, basically, you know. And they brought it back in 2018, and I thought, oh, the rest of the decent squad here. They've got an up-and-coming manager who's all right, taking the first bite into management, but you know, as I say, especially the first season, it went on. You know, this manager could be something special if we give her the correct backing and give her the correct environment. You know. To go and do a thing, you know, to go and learn, you know, and it's just like we fucking. Do you know what it first like? It's like we've took 2018, we took that season and won the championship. We just took it down the fucking bin, you know, and fucking yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think somebody was saying in the comments. I can't find the comment at the minute. It's like we're going to start all over again, you know, and that's a good point as well. What players are going to stay in such a time of uncertainty? You know, obviously, I know you've got your players and you sign new contracts. They'll obviously stay, but you've got them out of contracts and maybe them that, obviously, the two Americans. I don't know if you've heard anything. I don't know if they're staying or not, but, you know, I'm assuming they're probably gone now. Casey's going, you know, so it's just like.
I'd be very surprised. Yeah, I'd be surprised if they came. Go on.
Sorry, man. I don't know if we've lost your audio. Can you hear me, pal? I'm not sure if we lost Matt or lost his audio, but, you know, I'll just go on this point with Stu Woolley's making here, my man. No investment, and we've still finished fourth. If she only was supported, exactly. No, this is the point, you know. Yeah, you could point out that she probably had a decent summer last season, you know, a decent summer in terms of, you know, in terms of backing. You know, she's got, you know, the Americans came in and that, but you know, it's just fucking a kick in the teeth, man. You know, I just wish she got supported a little bit more. You know, I don't fucking know. Are you back, Matt?
I am. No, I was just saying I'd be very surprised if the Americans stayed now. I think, you know, you talk about not making a profit, but if they actually knew the football and had any clue what the hell they were doing, they'd realise that no women's football club makes a profit. You know, Chelsea running at a loss, Man City running at a loss. It was funny because the Americans obviously outsold in the first week of arriving all the men's shirts. So, listen, you talk about money coming in, you know, invest in it, and it's there. The product is there, you know, it needs the investment. You know, Sky have taken a punt this year and invested. Sponsors are investing, you know, the game is growing. So it's just ridiculous. You know, you're never going to make a profit from it at the minute because it's not big enough, but it will get there, and it is improving. And this is the thing, when you have people that focus on greed over, you know, personal success or achievements, you know, with investment comes trophies and becomes better just in all, you know. Surely that's the aim rather than lining you. Well, obviously not, but, you know, with most normal owners, so to speak, should be about success, you know, winning the trophies, being the best in England and the best in Europe. But yeah, it's one of them, you know, we talk about investment and we talk about it a lot and how bad it is. And like you say, it'd be interesting with players. I mean, you know, she did say, you know, in her interview before, they have been very professional about this, and it's difficult. But I think, you know, how many will be questioning it, you know, even next season, the ones that stay, the likes of Jackie that have another year on the contract, you know, she might be thinking, well, let's see how next season goes, and then might just disappear if we don't make Champions League. And it's players like that and other players where you kind of think, God, you know, but, you know, we already know that LJ is getting off, you know, the manager's quit. It doesn't look good, does it? You know, you question, and now players realize how bad it is behind the scenes. You'd be questioning it, wouldn't you? Thinking, well, in the women's game, we don't earn much. You know, we've got owners that lack ambition. And I know John Foster made a very good tweet the other day. He said, you know, the manager has more ambition than the owners. And I praised that yesterday, spot on. But this is the thing, it's a short career. They don't earn a lot. And you're thinking, well, hang on, if it's, you know, poor behind the scenes, you want to get out of there. You may want to get out of there, should I say? Not you do. You may. So it is worrying, but it's difficult because whoever comes in has got big shoes to fill, and they have to hit the ground running. And not just because of fan pressures as well, because players will be wanting to know what's going on and want their sort of, you know, futures and things sorting. And yeah, it needs to come together. It needs to come together pretty quick.
Just answer this question. You might know a bit more about this, pal, because I got
salaries.
What is the average player? Do you know roughly?
Oh, well, I mean, the average in most clubs, and this is without sort of sponsors, like some have Nike and Adidas sponsorships, the average player earns about 25 to 30 grand a year.
So basically, like an average job now. I earn about 30.
Yeah, which isn't a lot. Like I say, 20 to 25. Because I know there's a big thing with Bristol City, and they were paying, I think, less than like 18, 19 grand. 25. Yeah, it varies depending on obviously who, not who you are, but like, let's say, for example, I'll not use our club. Let's use somebody else. Let's go with Chuck as a team. Let's go with Tottenham, Ben. Right? Okay, so yeah. Tottenham, let's go with the captain. The captain's probably a 25 grand earner. You've probably got a 19, 20-year-old probably at the bottom of that scale on like the 20 grand. So it does vary based on, like I say, you know, if you're one of the bigger players, I look at ours, and like I say, I don't want to chuck figures out at players, but you'll know it. You top end players, you big ones, shall we say, will be at the 25 plus bonuses. Yeah, somebody used to work with Stop. Yeah, that's it. You can earn more teaching. This is the thing. This is why, you know, it's like they need the investment and they need the sponsorship. And this is why some players do look for sponsorships, and it helps because, like, for example, if you are an Adidas athlete or a Nike athlete or a Puma athlete, they'll send you things like boots and clothes, which obviously they need boots to play in. And you know what boots are like when you're playing and training, you go through them pretty quick, and they can be anything from sort of 100 quid a pair to 300 quid a pair. But yeah, the wages aren't great. Did he get a win bonus? I don't think so. I think the bonuses are more linked to success, either at the end of the season, like qualifying for Champions League or trophies. That's a good thing from Vic's there. Lionesses, Lionesses have a central contract. So you get a contract for a year, and basically that. I mean, it's good that they get paid for the Lionesses, because I know the men's obviously, because they get a lot to give theirs to charity. But I think the trouble with the central contracts for me is that it kind of forces the manager to pick those players, which in a way is an issue because they're tight with the contracts. So they might say, well, we only want to give out 25. And for me, that hampers somebody that deserves a contract coming up. You know, like we always talk about the clingers on the likes of the Jill Scott and the Steph Haltons and Kylie Telfords, which are probably finished in terms of Lionesses, but because they're under contract, they're still getting picked. So for me, they need to maybe come to some sort of compromise and maybe do it appearance-based and be like, right, you called up, you're involved in this World Cup squad, you're involved in the I'm back. Yeah, I was saying to the contracts are a big issue. It does need wages.
I think Matt's Wi-Fi is playing up a little bit again. He might just put a penny in the fucking meter, lad. But there was a comment up here somewhere that I wanted to just answer somebody, but I can't find it. There it is. We get money off Sky, so where's that going? Well, I can tell you where that's going. It's right in the Glazers' back pocket, lad.
Yep.
Where that's going.
That ain't being reinvested. Because it's interesting, we was having a conversation, I think it might have been me and Robert or me and somebody else, about the LJ money. People are sort of touting that it's going to be, 100 grandish. Probably.
Yeah, I think Karthik, his Wi-Fi is always bad as well. It's a Manchester thing, I've noticed.
It is a Manchester thing. I tell you what, I'm convinced it's just, you pay these people and they can't even be bothered. They're like, oh, yeah, your area's bad. It's like, well, mate, I've just paid you 200 quid to fix it. Shocking.
Yeah, but yeah, that's perhaps the Sky money might grow the salaries.
Hopefully, yeah. But
Hopefully.
It's like, the central contracts for me are great and it's extra money, but they need readjusting so that we're not picking people just because they've got a contract. We're picking people that deserve to play for England.
Wi-Fi died on Merseyside, you
I wouldn't be
scouse
seen dead in Merseyside, put it that way. So yeah, but no, I think they do need to, obviously, when they can, keep the wages at least sustainable. But 20 to 25 grand a year isn't really great. Like you say, you could probably get that maybe working in a supermarket or whatever. Or something, I don't know. That's not my sort of field of expertise. But for example, do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
It is. There is a big sacrifice made by these players, but I mean, listen, we could go on and do another show on sort of contracts and salaries and things, but it is one of them where, it's few and far between, and it's something that without proper investment is never going to improve. And, you talk about wanting to build the club up for the next generation, you've got to start investing in it. Sorry, who's asking me? Oh, here he is. Who's asking me for places? Hey, listen, for places to go on a night out. To be fair,
Liverpool's wicked actually for a night out.
No, I'm not going to say who. Basically, it was me and Gareth were sorting a night out, and somebody said, "Oh yeah," somebody said they'd sort a night out. So I was like, right, and they were like, "Oh, Manchester or Liverpool." So I wasn't like hugely fussed as such. So I said to him, right, I know the places in Manchester. Where's good in Liverpool? See, Vix agrees. I went to uni near there, and it was a good night out. A great pop world, Ben. You'll love it.
Oh, no, mate, I've been in it. I've been to Coyote Ugly as well before we got a Coyote Ugly bar.
Yes.
Mate, so I went out a few years ago for New Year's down there, mate.
Yeah, so we finished uni. We went to Pop World, started off in there, and then went on a mad one around the town. It was good, but like I said, I had to ask for Gareth's expertise, but I did say I wouldn't be seen dead there, not alive. So, yeah. So
between, so look, both Liverpool and Manchester. Yeah, but with Gareth lives somewhere in between, I know.
No, Gareth's fully on Merseyside, I think.
Was he fully on Merseyside?
Yeah, he's near the sea.
So. Hey, if you're out at Pop World, I mean, that
Pop
might
World,
be on
Benny's paying with his swear box, Gareth. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh no! Surprise! Leicester isn't the first location right now.
Robert, oh my days, no, we was in Leicester on the 2nd. It's the worst place for a night out ever. It's just dead. There's just nobody there. Nothing good there. Nottingham's good, but Leicester was like going out in Bolton. You just wouldn't do it. There's a couple of dodgy bars and a couple of weird looking people. Just lived in Leicester at uni. Nottingham's the place to go for a night out if you're down there, not Leicester, but Anthony with his betting. Yeah, Anthony's bets and Benny's swearbox fan, the swear word is paying for the night out.
Let's just be decent student night out.
Tell you what, either we went to the wrong place then, or it's gone downhill, because it was just, we got to the main city centre bit, and it was just no. I mean, listen, obviously clubs aren't open at the minute, but the bars were just dreadful. It really wasn't great. Poor. So definitely not Robert, definitely not Leicester. I'd rather go Liverpool, mate. And that says it all. But yeah, sorry, but back on topic. Like I say, we're on about investment. So yeah, to sort of summarize, we need investment and we need to sort it out. Went to Nottingham. That's where Natalie went. That's why there must be something about Nottingham party animal, because she went to Nottingham uni and just about got a degree.
Mate, I can't say anything. I've never beat a uni in my life.
Oh, you missed out, lad. Only went for the lifestyle. Qualification relevant now. Everybody's got a degree now.
I've got a degree of being a pain in the ass, but that'll do.
But yeah, no. So like I say, it's at the minute what's going on. Sad state of affairs. And yeah, I think just before we end, obviously, we're still on night out talk here.
I know, mate. I know. Alcoholics.
What we'll do is
Stu likes his special brew as well. So
what we'll do, Ben, is if we stay on this roadmap and we don't get worse, fingers crossed, come the 21st of June, you can all have a personal invite, and we'll do presenters and viewers all for United night out. It doesn't even have to be an all for United. It's just an excuse for a night out. And everybody in the comments, even if you have to travel, come and travel. It'd be good to meet everybody, and we'll do a big, whatever you want to call it, big knees up. But like I say, just before we wrap it, I think just you'll probably echo me on this, and everybody in the comments just want to obviously thank Casey Stone.
Just as he's
see this,
his Wi-Fi
from us, really.
Up again.
My Wi-Fi is going to. No, I was in the middle of saying from all of us, I think we just want to, thank her for an unbelievable 3 years. And I said yesterday about, sometimes as fans we've disagreed and wondered about decisions, but it's never been personal. It's always been for the best, the best for the team. We've always all agreed on that. Live from Pop World.
Yeah.
John,
introduce you to Live from Pop World. John's on it. He's planning on this, isn't he?
Yeah, right. So John's going to DJ for us live from Pop World.
Judge Jules
live from Pop World in the Liverpool one, though. Actually, may
nice to have t-shirts when we're first back in the ground.
Here we go. I knew that'd get people going. But yeah, thank you. Whilst I've got a decent or an half decent connection, I say been massive journey, highs and lows, not too many lows, luckily, but some great memories. And like I say, met some brilliant people. This women's team has taken most of us to places that we didn't think, we dreamed of, and to think at the very start, like I say, most of us were strangers, to now chatting with people on Twitter, on Instagram, on here as well. Ant and Deck can present it. Oh, Ant and Deck want a wage, John. Shaft, get your wallet out. But yeah, like I say, just a massive thank you. It's massive kick in the teeth that it's ended this way. But I think she's kind of, with Cat Dealey. It's Ellen now. Robert changed it and called him Ellen the other day.
It's Ellen, whatever her name is, from that American chat show, isn't it?
Yeah. But like I say, I think what a journey it's been on. And it's a kick in the teeth the way it's ended. But it's one of them. I think she's had to, based on her values and her principles, she's kind of had to do what she's done, and you could tell by that interview she didn't want to go. But like I say, I think it's been less of that. It's been it's been one hell of a journey, and like I say, it's a kick in the teeth, to put it politely, the way it's ended. I think, like I say, just want to thank her because, like I say, not only the football and things to look forward to at a weekend, but, meeting obviously you lot as well. And like I say, that season one, that connection we had with sort of players and the staff and everybody we got to know sort of, behind the scenes and at the club. Is only been, an absolute pleasure to be a small part of.
Yeah, before I give my thanks, I just want to pick this comment out. Joe wouldn't be in the bar, be going round and round on the fucking bus, messaging his Tinder date. You know that, Stu. You know that. He loves his buses. I forgot Gareth's more like Zac Efron on his or don't keep me started that denim jacket. How did you let him go on your show with that poxy denim jacket on the other day?
Hannah enjoyed it. She's got one. Hannah was all over that.
Oh, I could just imagine. But yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give my thanks. And I think I probably said thank you so much to Casey Stoney, over the last few days. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart for just, as I said earlier on, just gave you that fresh belief in the football club at that point when she came in, and it was just like a breath of fresh air around the place, Just thank you for, as you said, for bringing us all together. Otherwise, we would have never known. Like, I'd have never known you. I'd have never known Nat. I just fucking want to thank Casey Stoney just for showing us the respect, as fans, because I know some managers can be a bit arsey, and I know that the women's game probably hasn't seen fans like us, pretty rowdy bunch, we like a few drinks. Well, some was like a few drinks. We could sometimes be seen as a pain. I'm sure, at times she probably thought that, she probably didn't think of it, but she probably thought, just them to be quiet a little bit, giving me a headache. But I just want to thank you, really, man. Just for making me believe in this football club again. When things were not looking so good with Jose at the time, as I said, then with Ollie coming in, Ollie's another one that's renewed my faith up until this fucking fallout of the ASL again, and obviously Casey leaving. It's just fucking gutting, man. But I'd just like to thank her from the bottom of my heart, and thank her for looking out for my son as well. Back in the early days when my son was getting abused online a little bit, I won't go into it too much, but she reached out and obviously got in touch and said what she had to say, and just thank her for everything that she said and everything she's done for us, as fans, a proper respect to her. She goes with my respect, my love, and a big thank you for making these last 3 years absolutely special and an amazing ride to be upon. It's been a joy. It's never ever been a chore watching that side. It's always been a joy, even in defeats and even in some performances where we've not been at our very best and we've been a bit poor. It's still been an absolute joy to watch this team from beginning to where we are now, to where she leaves it after tomorrow's match against Leicester City in the FA Cup. And I echo what Gareth said here. Hope she has success wherever she ends up next, or whatever she does next in her life. I hope she has success, and I wish her all the best for the future. She was a breath of fresh air. I hope she'll be very happy what she does next.
I think this is it. Like I said yesterday, for me, I don't think that maybe they realise how much the team means. Like I said yesterday, you might have had a bad week at work, or you might be having a tough time in life, and knowing that at the weekend, we had something, you might have had the bus journey to look forward to, or a game to go to, and it was just for those hours that you were there, whether you were traveling or whether you were going to league, because obviously we get there early and stay for a little bit after. It was just something that you could, take your mind off life and sort of get together with your mates and kind of, put your effort into the club and those players for those few hours. And I think that's the biggest thing that fans are going to take out of it. Like you say, you were proud to be a part of it, and it was never, like you say, there was a couple of, difficult defeats, but it was one of them. Never look forward to your navigational skills.
The bad dodgy driving.
Trying to be serious, yeah. But like I say, it just, and I like to think that they know that, but maybe they don't. So who knows? But I think, like, to echo you, what you said, it was, you talked about there, reaching out with your son. And I think it's little things like that that just made the whole experience and the whole journey. And like I say, there's nothing like, I mean, fingers crossed we can get back in September. But, like I say, you could have had a terrible week, but knowing that you're going home or away on a weekend and you're watching the team is just, it's something to look forward to, isn't it? It's what keeps you going. So it's a kick in the teeth, like I say, going forward, that she's not there now to carry on that journey with us. But I just hope that we can, fingers crossed, sort out this sorry mess that it's kind of, through no fault of her own, sort of ended up as, really.
Right. Before we go as well, I have promised John that I will mention this, John Foster. We have a new dedicated YouTube channel. So this will be the last show that is going to be on Twitter Live. It's now all going to go on YouTube, be a YouTube live show then. We have got a new YouTube channel, All for United WFC YouTube channel. So although the Thursday, Friday show that Nat and John do, I think it's going to stay on the main channel, but all our other shows are going to go across to the All for United WFC channel, which is, if you haven't subscribed to it yet, it's linked above this video. It's in the pinned tweet. So if you could just go on that, click on that, give us a subscribe, click on the bell thingy, Bobby, to keep updated, so you won't miss another show or miss any shows. I promised John that I'll mention that. So if you could just, if you've not done it already, which I'm sure a lot of you have already if you could just give us a subscribe and click that bell notification button thingy, Bobby, then that'll be fantastic. Are we on YouTube? I believe we are, pal. Yes, I believe we are. Mr. John Foster will definitely tell me differently, but I believe we are. Really enjoy the show. Just sorry, the primary topic is case leaving us. I know, mate. I know it's one of them. It's a show, as I said, but on the top of the show, I thought I'd never be doing not this soon anyway. That's just a little comment. But yeah, mate, I don't know how to sum that up or end the show. But apart from being absolutely bitterly disappointed, what have you got coming up? You got your planned your shows for next week, pal? Any topics, or are we still thinking about it?
Planning's pretty much done, but I think the first thing to mention is tomorrow at 11:15. We've got the pre-match build-up, obviously FA Cup game as well as Gaffer's last game. So come and join us tomorrow, 11:15, doing the pre-match. There is no halftime show tomorrow, but there is the pre-match. Monday, John is back with guests. I think it's either going to be 7 or 7:30. I need to double check that with him. But the schedule, as always, will go up tomorrow and the links for all the shows this week. But yeah, Tuesday I'm back, obviously, as well, 8 p.m. And yeah, like I said, just keep your eye throughout the week. We've got, as John said yesterday, guest booked in now 5-6 weeks in advance. So yeah, it's looking good, like I say. And like you said, come and join us on YouTube. And yeah, onwards and upwards, and let's, like I say, let's hope that come September we've got something to support.
Absolutely, and as I said, you've said as well that they've got guests booked up for the next 5 or 6 weeks. But if anybody wants to come on this show and be a guest, just chuck me and Matt a DM, or just chuck the All for United WFC Twitter page a DM. Somebody will pick it up there, and we'll get you booked in. I can understand that Saturdays is a busy day for everyone, a busy night for everybody, families time and all that lot. But if anyone's got a free 10 minutes, want to join us for a chat, just DM us. The usual thing. Yeah. Top journals over the summer. Yeah, as I said, Natalie and John and yourself have got some really good guests coming up. Thursday with Rodney and that'll be a good one. If anyone knows who Rodney is, he's a top man. Get yourselves tuned in on that. Get Ellen on. Be out of work soon. Yes, true. She's leaving, isn't she? Or whatever's happening to her. I don't know, in America. But yeah, just before I finally wrap it up, pal, socials was something I forgot to do last time we wrapped up last week. But where can people find you, pal? Which I'm sure everybody knows by now. Just in case we've got anybody new around here.
Yeah, that's it. In case anybody's new, on screen at Matt Crane 15. Obviously at All for United WFC on Twitter and YouTube now, like you mentioned. Just quickly want to touch on that point about where can fans keep updated for those of us that have binned off our subscriptions. I believe, or I read, I think 5 Live Extra, or was it Radio Manchester? Don't quote me on that, but check out 5 Live Sport, 5 Live Extra Sport, and BBC Radio Manchester, because I saw somebody called Helen say that she was commenting.
BBC website, I think, as well.
Yeah, so somewhere on the BBC website, but I still think and I called this out the other day, I still think it's poor that it's not on the FA Player, because Chelsea's on Wednesday, and I don't care that they won the league and they're the best team in England. That it's a joke, other clubs are going to extra lengths to put it on somewhere else, and we're not. So sadly, it's one of them. Like I say, if you've binned off your subscription because you're not giving money to the owners, great. But it does make it a little bit difficult. So obviously it's radio commentary or Twitter updates. I think, I hate saying this, but I think Leicester's Twitter updates are better than ours. I think they do it minute by minute and we do it kind of 20 minutes by 20 minutes. So either or, Twitter or commentary. I think commentary is probably your second best thing. But yeah, sorry, Ben, I'll let you wrap up with your socials.
Yeah, I've just Benny MUFC on Twitter as always, and Benjamin Brazil on the old Instagram, but Twitter's always the best place. As I said, anybody wants to come on this show, just throw me a Matt a DM, and we shall see you next week on YouTube. So take care, everybody, and have a good rest of your Saturday evening. See you later.
See you later.